So to say this is an important moment for MG might be a bit of an understatement, because of course the brand made its name in two-seat sports cars, and it's been a very long time since those two famed letters have been on the bonnet of something with two seats and with a bit of verve. This is the MG Cyberster, and actually it's one of the first affordable two-seat electric sports cars. Well, the design department's certainly done its job, hasn't it? The car is utterly striking, and not too dissimilar from the concept car we saw several years ago. It's been a long time in gestation, but the MG brand under Chinese ownership has certainly matured with the new MG3 hybrid out and the excellent MG4. Now, while it's not traditional for a sports car to weigh nearly 2 tons, be all-wheel drive and, say it quietly, electric, it does have traditional sports car proportions, that long bonnet, short overhang, nice haunches and muscular creases. But then breaking with tradition is really edgy details such as these arrow rear lights and show-stopping all-electric dihedral doors. The MG Cyberster comes in 2 flavours. This dual motor car, as I've mentioned, all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, courtesy of 496 brake horsepower and 725 newton meters of torque. This is certainly no slouch, and on today's wet and greasy British roads, the extra confidence the all-wheel drive gives you to deploy that power is certainly welcome. Now, the rear-wheel drive car is 100 kilos lighter, but it's still a heavy car, and that all comes down to the fact that this is a pure electric vehicle. Its really healthy 77 kilowatt hour battery gives you a range of up to 276 miles, and especially as MG are claiming that this is more of a GT car than a sports car, that's certainly ample to get you from point to point. Should you need to charge, you can go from 10 to 80% via a rapid charger in just 38 minutes. Or equally, if you're setting off in the morning, you can charge it overnight for 10 hours via a 7 kilowatt wall charger for a full charge. Before we delve into driving impressions, let's talk about the cab, because actually it's quite a special environment here. You've got this bank of technical data in front of you via all of these digital screens, everything from nav on your left to, well, I've got a weather forecast on my right hand side, which is particularly helpful given that this is a convertible after all. There's nice deep levels of data here, and graphically the whole system's quite impressive. Further modernisation can be found here with a touchscreen system to activate all of your HVAC air conditioning controls and the like, with everything being really angled towards the driver. The rest of the cabin features some really nice high quality materials. Everything's nice and sculpted, but also lined with high quality leather type materials and flock lining, and there's a nice balance of both old and new in here in terms of traditional materials and modern styling. Something I will say though is that the seating position is quite high, and that's because we're sat on top of the batteries. I find myself having to squat down a little bit just to get the best view through the road, and it compromises comfort somewhat. Also compromising comfort is the ride. It's quite hard, and to be fair, mainland Europe it will probably perform a lot better, but on our battered British roads you find that actually the car shimmies and shudders and unsettles itself, which just robs you of a bit of the confidence you want to really deploy that performance. But find an open stretch of road and my goodness, has it got some performance. You can utterly believe that 0 to 60 time. This thing just picks up and goes. It doesn't scrabble for grip, it doesn't kind of squirm in any way, it just points its nose at the horizon and absolutely rockets off in a way that we've become used to with electric vehicles. What we haven't been used to with electric vehicles is kind of this form factor, and certainly at this price point. It's not cheap at £60,000, but it's certainly a lot cheaper than the next two-seater electric high-performance vehicle. On tight and twisty roads, the MG does a really good job of hiding its weight with really darty, nimble performance and the security that that all-wheel drive provides. There's not too much feedback coming through the wheels, so you don't feel necessarily all that connected to what's going on. It's not a Mazda MX-5 driving experience, but it's certainly enjoyable, and one that I think many people will start to see that maybe electric cars have a bit more to offer than silent running at town speeds. On the steering wheel, we've got these paddle shifters marked KERS, or Kinetic Energy Recovery System, and that controls how much regenerative braking goes on. Obviously, you can whack that all the way up for an almost one-pedal driving experience, or all the way down for kind of a bit more of a natural coasting feeling. There are 4 driving modes in the MG Cyberster. You've got Comfort, which is kind of ideal for your town driving, throttle responsive, and it's not quite as sharp. You've got Custom, where you can dial things to your liking. Big fan of vehicles with custom modes, because sometimes engineers don't quite get it right dialing in those other modes. Crank it up to Sport, things get a little bit more aggressive, and then you've got Track mode, which relaxes off some of the electronic nannies in this vehicle and really gives you everything that the powertrain has to offer. Is the MG Cyberster a modern day reincarnation of icons such as the MGB? No, nor is it an electric equivalent to a Mazda MX-5. This car is much bigger, much more expensive, and actually a much more grown-up proposition than either of those two vehicles are. What this is a fantastic signpost of what MG has to offer in the future. The MG Cyberster isn't perfect, but what it certainly is very promising.